Hey, welcome back. This is it, the final episode in the Path Home series. And I have to tell you, this one is close to my heart. Over the past 5 weeks, we've walked through the 5 phases of healing from religious trauma. We prepared the soil by establishing safety. We planted seeds of hope by reconnecting with our God given desires. We cleared the overgrowth by naming the hidden barriers. And we cultivated the truth by letting the lies dissolve at the seed level. And if you've been on this journey with me, something has probably shifted in you. Maybe you've had moments of clarity. Maybe you've felt lighter. Maybe you've glimpsed who you really are underneath all the shame and the fear and false beliefs. And you might be wondering, what's next? How do I actually live as this new woman? That's what phase 5 is about. This is where breakthrough becomes embodiment, where insight becomes integration, where the butterfly finally learns to fly. Because here's what I want you to understand. Transformation isn't a moment, it's a process. And the breakthrough is just the beginning. Today, we're talking about growing your wings, what it actually takes to make transformation permanent, how to live as the woman you're becoming, and why the God who started this work in you will carry it to completion. Let's finish this journey together. We are loyal Christian women. We've served, we've believed, we've stayed, even when it hurt. We gave our hearts to faith, hoping for closeness with God, inner joy, and a safe place to belong. But somewhere along the way, the closeness became distance, the joy became exhaustion, and the place that was supposed to feel like home didn't. I'm Debra Schaefer on a mission to take back pure faith from everything that distorted it. In every episode, I'll help you name what happened, see what's keeping you stuck, and come home to a safe, loving God. Grab your tea, toss the rule book, and let's go. Before we dive into this final episode, I want to remind you, if you've been listening to this series and thinking, this is exactly what I need, there's a way to experience all 5 phases with support, community, and personal guidance. The Coming Home Journey is a 6-month experience where we walk through this entire framework together. You don't have to figure it out alone. To learn more, go to thecominghomejourney.com. That's thecominghomejourney.com. I want to tell you about a woman in the Coming Home Journey. I'll call her Ruth. Ruth came into the program stuck in the I'm not enough barrier. For years, she'd been overworking, overgiving, constantly striving to prove her worth. She was exhausted, depleted, running on fumes. In phase 4, she had a really deep experience. She connected to the deeper truth. I am enough, exactly as I am. My worth is inherent, given by God, not earned by my performance. She felt it deep in her bones. For the first time in her life, she experienced what it was like to just be enough. She even took a bold step. She said no to a ministry opportunity that would have required her to overwork. She chose rest over performance. And for 2 weeks, she was lighter, freer, more at peace than she'd felt in years. But then life happened. A big project at work. Her daughter got sick. Her mom needed help. And slowly, so slowly, she didn't even notice, the old pattern started creeping back in. She said yes when she should have said no. She worked through the weekend. She minimized her own needs. Within a month, she was right back where she started. And she came to her call feeling defeated. I thought I was healed, she said. What happened? Here's what I told her. The breakthrough was real. The truth is real. But insight without integration is just inspiration. She needed to grow her wings. So we got to work on phase 5. We identified the specific mindsets she needed to cultivate. We built the habit of setting boundaries. We established support systems that would remind her of her worth when she forgot. We restructured her schedule to support rest instead of exhaustion. And something shifted, not just how she felt, but in how she lived. The last time we talked, she said something that still moves me. I'm not just feeling different anymore. I'm actually living different. When stress hits now, I don't automatically go back to striving. I catch myself. I have tools. I have support. The old pattern doesn't have the same power over me. That's what phase 5 does. That's what it means to grow your wings. All right, let's start today's teaching with why breakthrough isn't the end. So let's talk about what happens after the breakthrough. In phase 4, you experience something powerful. Maybe the lies dissolved. Maybe you felt for the first time in a long time that you weren't broken after all. And you might have thought, this is it. The work is done. I'm healed. But here's what I need you to understand. Transformation isn't a moment. It's a process. The breakthrough is the beginning, not the end. Let me give you an image that I love from the butterfly journey. In phase 4, the caterpillar entered the chrysalis and dissolved. The old identity, the one shaped by religious trauma, began to break down. Something new started forming. But here's the thing. When a butterfly first emerges from the chrysalis, its wings are wet and crumpled. It can't fly yet. It needs time for the wings to dry, to strengthen, to develop the capacity to actually take flight. If the butterfly tried to fly immediately, it would fail. Not because the transformation wasn't real, but because the wings weren't ready. Phase 5 is where we grow the wings. This is where insight becomes integration, where knowing becomes living, where the woman you glimpsed in phase 4 becomes the woman you actually are, not just in breakthrough moments, but in everyday life. Philippians 1:6 says, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion." The work isn't done, but the one who started it is faithful to finish it. And phase 5 is how we partner with him in that completing work. All right, let's start with our first point today. The difference between feeling different and living different. So why don't breakthroughs always stick? Why do so many women have powerful moments of healing and then they find themselves right back in the old patterns a few weeks later? Here's what's happening. There's a difference between feeling different and living different. Feeling different is what happens in phase 4. It's the breakthrough moment, the revelation, the tears of release, the sense of lightness and freedom. Living different is what happens in phase 5. It's the sustained, embodied transformation that becomes permanent. And here's why the gap exists. When you have a breakthrough, the deeper truth becomes clear. The lie loses its grip. You see yourself differently, even if just for a moment. But your old patterns are still there. Your old neural pathways, your old habits, your old structures, they've been running for years, maybe decades. One breakthrough doesn't erase them. So when stress hits, when life gets hard, when you're tired, when pressure mounts, your nervous system goes back to what it knows. The old patterns feel familiar. The old responses are automatic. And before you even realize it, you're back in the old story. This isn't because the breakthrough wasn't real. It's because you haven't yet developed the capacity to live from the new truth under pressure. Think about it like this. You can know in your head that you're enough. But do you have the skill of setting boundaries? Do you have the habit of rest? Do you have the support system that reminds you of your worth when you forget? Do you have a life structure that supports overflow instead of exhaustion? Insight alone isn't enough. You need integration. You need to grow the wings that allow you to actually fly. All right, and here's the second point. Growing your wings, what it actually takes. So, what does it actually take to grow your wings? What makes transformation permanent instead of temporary? In the coming home journey, we call them growth codes. And they're not just action steps or to-do lists. They're the specific mindsets, skills, behaviors, support systems, and life structures that enable you to embody your new identity. Let me break that down. Mindsets are the new ways of thinking, like shifting from mistakes prove I'm bad to mistakes are data for learning, or from I have to earn love to I'm already loved and I'm growing as a response to that love. Skills are actually competencies you develop, like setting boundaries, like emotional regulation, like asking for help instead of trying to do everything alone. Behaviors are the new habits, saying no to protect your capacity, celebrating wins instead of minimizing them, resting without guilt. Support systems are the people and communities that uphold your growth. An accountability partner who reminds you of the truth. A community where you're seen and celebrated. People who call forth the new you, not the old patterns. Life structures are how your actual life is organized. A schedule that includes rest. Relationships that honor your voice. Systems that support who you're becoming instead of who you used to be. Now, here's what I want you to know. This takes time, and that's okay. You're in what we call the liminal space, the threshold between who you were and who you're becoming. You're no longer a caterpillar, but you're not yet flying freely as a butterfly. Your wings are still drying. You're still building strength. And that space is uncomfortable. You might feel uncertain. You might have days where the old patterns try to pull you back. You might wonder if the transformation was real. It was real. You just need time to grow into it. Small, consistent actions compound into irreversible change. One boundary at a time. One new habit at a time. One day of rest at a time. Each small step strengthens your wings until one day you realize you're not just surviving anymore, you're flying. All right, and here's the third point today. The God who completes what he starts. Here's what I want to leave with you as we close this series. You don't have to do this alone. Philippians 1:6 says, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion." The same God who drew you to this podcast, who stirred something in your heart as you listened, who helped you see the barriers and glimpse the truth, that same God is committed to finishing what he started. This isn't about performing well enough to earn your transformation. This isn't about having enough willpower to make it stick. This is about partnering with a God who is already at work in you. The Holy Spirit is the one doing the deep transformation. Your job is to show up, to stay open, to take the next small step. His job is everything else. And here's what I've seen over and over in women who complete this journey. Growth isn't a burden when it flows from being loved. When you're striving to earn acceptance, growth is exhausting. It's another performance, another test you might fail. But when you know you're already loved, when the deeper, more accurate truth has settled into your bones, growth becomes your joyful response. Not, I have to change to be acceptable, but I get to become who I was always meant to be. That's the difference. That's what makes this sustainable. So, as we close the Path Home series, I want you to remember what we've walked through. Phase 1, you can be safe. You can prepare the soil. Phase 2, you can dream again. You can plant seeds of hope. Phase 3, you can name what's been blocking you. You can clear the overgrowth. Phase 4, you can discover the deeper truth. You can cultivate what's real. And Phase 5, you can learn to fly. You can grow your wings. And through all of it, through every phase, every struggle, every step forward, you are not alone. You're coming home, and it's the most beautiful journey you'll ever take. All right, let's wrap this up. Here's your simple win for this week. Choose one small thing that would support your new identity. Maybe it's saying no to something that would drain you. Maybe it's scheduling rest and actually taking it. Maybe it's reaching out to someone who could be part of your support system. Maybe it's celebrating a win you would normally minimize. Just one thing, one small step. That's how wings grow. This is the final episode of the Path Home series, but it's not the end of your journey. It's really just the beginning. The garden is blooming. The butterfly is emerging. And you're learning to fly. If this series has meant something to you, if it's opened your eyes to what's possible, if it's given you hope that real transformation is available to you, I want to invite you to take the next step. The coming home journey is where all 5 phases come to life. It's where you get the support, the community, the coaching, and the structure to actually walk this path. It's where breakthrough becomes embodiment, where women just like you learn to fly. Visit us at thecominghomejourney.com for more details and to join us. Thank you for being here for this entire series. Whether you listen to one episode or all 6, I'm honored you trusted me with your time and your heart. If the path home has impacted you, would you share it with someone who needs it? And a review on Apple Podcasts helps more women find their way to this message, that healing is possible, that they're not broken, and that there's a path home. This series is complete, but the podcast continues. I'll be back next week with more teaching, more stories, and more hope for your journey. Until then, remember, you're not too much, you're not too little, and you're definitely not alone. The God who began this work in you is faithful to complete it. Your wings are growing, and one day soon, maybe sooner than you think, you're going to fly. I believe in you. I'll see you next time.